The sun had set over the small town of Ravenswood, casting a golden glow over the crumbling buildings. The town was shrouded in mystery, and the locals avoided talking about the abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town. The Shadowbrook Asylum loomed in the distance, its towering spires reaching towards the sky like skeletal fingers. A group of friends, all with their own reasons for being there, had gathered at the local tavern to discuss their plans. Emily, a journalist, was researching the asylum's dark past. Matt, a thrill-seeker, was looking for a challenge. Sarah, a psychologist, was studying the asylum's experimental treatments. Jake, a skeptic, didn't believe in the supernatural and was along for the ride. As they sat around the table, sipping their drinks and discussing their plans, they couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and trepidation. They had all heard the stories about the asylum, about the patients who had gone in but never come out, but they didn't believe them. They were a group of friends, and they were in this together. The next morning, they set out for the asylum, their cameras and equipment at the ready. As they approached the building, they felt a chill run down their spines. The asylum loomed before them, its windows like empty eyes staring back. "Welcome to Shadowbrook Asylum," Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let's hope we're not making a mistake coming here." The group began to explore the asylum, marveling at the decaying grandeur. They discovered hidden rooms, secret passages, and cryptic messages scrawled on the walls. As they explored, they started to feel a sense of unease, as if they were being watched. As the sun began to set, they gathered in the main hall, discussing their findings and planning their next move. But as they talked, they couldn't shake off the feeling that they were not alone. "I don't like this," Matt said, his voice laced with unease. "Let's get out of here before it gets dark." But Emily was determined to uncover the truth about the asylum. "We can't leave now," she said. "We just got here." As the group argued, they heard a strange noise coming from the floor above. It sounded like footsteps, heavy and deliberate. The group exchanged nervous glances, wondering if they were alone in the asylum. "Let's investigate," Sarah said, her voice firm. The group reluctantly followed Sarah up the stairs, their hearts pounding in their chests. As they reached the top floor, they saw something that made their blood run cold. A door was open, creaking slowly in the wind, and on the wall, in bold letters, was scrawled a message: "Get out while you still can." The episode would continue with the group trying to uncover the meaning behind the message and the strange occurrences in the asylum. They would discover more about the asylum's dark past and the patients who had been treated there. Chapter 2: The Patient's Journal Asterisk. The group stood frozen in front of the open door, staring at the ominous message scrawled on the wall: "Get out while you still can." The words seemed to echo in their minds, filling them with a sense of unease. "What does it mean?" Matt asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Emily replied, "but I think we should be careful. This place is definitely not safe." Sarah, ever the researcher, began to search the room for any clues. She found a dusty old journal hidden away on a shelf, filled with handwritten notes. As she flipped through the pages, she discovered that it belonged to a patient who had been treated at the asylum. The journal told the story of a young woman named Elizabeth, who had been admitted to the asylum with depression. As the journal progressed, Elizabeth's writing became more and more erratic, detailing the cruel treatments she had endured at the hands of the asylum staff. The group gathered around Sarah, reading through the journal and discussing its implications. They discovered that Elizabeth had been subjected to lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and other forms of torture. The journal ended abruptly, with Elizabeth's writing becoming illegible. As they read, they began to feel a sense of unease. The journal seemed to be speaking to them, warning them about the dangers of the asylum. "I think we should leave," Jake said, his voice firm. "This place is seriously messed up." But Emily was determined to uncover the truth. "We can't leave now," she said. "We have to know what happened to Elizabeth." The group reluctantly agreed to continue their investigation, despite the ominous warnings. As they explored the asylum further, they began to experience strange occurrences. Doors would slam shut on their own, and they would hear whispers in the darkness. The chapter would continue with the group, uncovering more about Elizabeth's story and the asylum's dark past. They would discover hidden rooms, secret passages, and cryptic messages that would lead them deeper into the heart of the asylum. Chapter 3: The Haunting. The group continued their investigation, determined to uncover the truth about Elizabeth and the asylum. As they explored the decaying halls, they began to feel a presence around them. Doors creaked open and shut, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the corridors. One night, as they sat in the main hall, they heard a loud bang coming from upstairs. They rushed to investigate and found a door hanging off its hinges. The room was in disarray, with furniture overturned and papers scattered everywhere. "This is getting creepy," Matt said, his voice laced with fear. "I don't like this," Emily said. "Let's get out of here." But Sarah was fascinated by the strange occurrences. "This could be evidence of paranormal activity," she said, pulling out her camera. As they explored the room further, they discovered a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside, they found a series of letters written by Elizabeth to her sister. The letters detailed the horrors she had endured at the asylum and her desperate attempts to escape. The group realized that Elizabeth's story was more than just a simple tale of a patient's struggles. It was a testament to the atrocities that had been committed at the asylum, and the group's determination to uncover the truth grew stronger. As they read through the letters, the strange occurrences intensified. Doors slammed shut, and the sound of whispers grew louder. The group began to feel like they were being watched, and the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Suddenly, Emily let out a scream. "Look," she cried, pointing to a door at the far end of the hall. The door was slowly creaking open, as if pushed by an invisible hand. The group watched in horror as a figure emerged from the shadows. Chapter 4: The Doctor's Secret. The figure emerged from the shadows, its presence seeming to fill the entire hallway. The group froze in terror, unsure of what to do next. But as the figure drew closer, they saw that it was just a reflection in a mirror. Sarah, trying to calm everyone down, suggested they take a break and regroup. She began to search the room where the mirror was located, looking for any clues. As she searched, she stumbled upon an old desk with a hidden compartment. Inside, she found a journal belonging to Dr. Malcolm, the asylum's former director. The journal detailed his experiments and treatments, including the use of lobotomies and electroshock therapy. The group gathered around Emily, reading through the journal and discussing its implications. They realized that Dr. Malcolm had been conducting twisted experiments on the patients, and that his methods had been far more sinister than they had initially thought. As they read on, they discovered that Dr. Malcolm had been working on a top-secret project, codenamed a combination of medication and psychological manipulation to control their minds. The group was horrified by what they had discovered, and they began to wonder what had happened to Dr. Malcolm. Had he been brought to justice for his crimes? Or was he still out there, hiding in the shadows? As they continued to read through the journal, they heard strange noises coming from outside the room. It sounded like footsteps, heavy and deliberate. The group exchanged nervous glances, wondering if they were alone in the asylum. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the group into darkness. They were trapped, and they had no idea what was coming for them. Chapter 5: The Desperate Escape Asterisk. The group frantically tried to find a way out of the darkened room, but every door they tried led to more corridors and more darkness. They stumbled through the darkness, desperate to escape. As they moved through the asylum, they began to hear whispers and footsteps all around them. It was as if the asylum itself was alive, and it was determined to keep them trapped. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of them. It was Dr. Malcolm, or at least, his ghostly apparition. His eyes were black as coal, and his presence was menacing. "You shouldn't have come here," he hissed. "You'll never leave." The group tried to run, but their feet seemed rooted to the spot. Dr. Malcolm began to laugh, a cold, mirthless sound that sent shivers down their spines. Just as all hope seemed lost, the lights flickered back to life, and Dr. Malcolm's apparition vanished. The group took advantage of the distraction to make a run for it, dashing down the corridors and finally finding their way out of the asylum. As they emerged into the bright sunlight, they felt a sense of relief wash over them. They had made it out alive, and they vowed never to set foot in the asylum again. But as they looked back at the asylum, they saw something that made their blood run cold. In the window of the room they had just escaped from, a message was scrawled in red letters: "They'll never let you leave." The group exchanged nervous glances, wondering if they had really escaped, or if the asylum's dark forces would continue to haunt them. Chapter 6: The Aftermath Asterisk. The group tried to put the experience behind them, but the memory of the asylum lingered. They couldn't shake off the feeling that they were being watched, and the message on the window haunted them. As they tried to return to their normal lives, strange things began to happen. Emily would find strange objects in her room, moved from their usual place. Matt would hear whispers in his ear when no one was around. Sarah would see shadowy figures out of the corner of her eye. It was as if the asylum's dark energy had followed them home. They began to wonder if they would ever be able to escape its grasp. The atmosphere shifted, and the group felt a sense of relief wash over them. As they left the asylum for the last time, they knew that they had faced their fears and overcome them. They had uncovered the secrets of the asylum, and they had emerged victorious. The series concludes with the group having faced their fears and overcome the dark energy of the asylum. They emerged stronger and more resilient, having uncovered the secrets of the asylum and put an end to its haunting legacy.